Dirt Everyday Extras go live every weekday on Motor Trend On Demand. Here's an example of an episode you missed last week. This is Dave's Rad4 project, and I give Dave a bunch of grief about it because it's kind of silly, but it's actually going to be really cool when it's all done. So he took a Rad4, which is a two-wheel drive, front-wheel drive car, and we've chopped it up and we're going to make it four-wheel drive. A lot of people have asked us, how do you make a four-wheel drive? And this is what we're going to show you how much work it is to make some vehicles a four-wheel drive. We're doing some stuff that's kind of cool, but it might also be a little bit silly. For example, the engine and transaxle was in the front of the vehicle crosswise. We are now putting in the middle of the vehicle and using the axle half shafts, running those front and rear as the drive shafts, and then running it down to some Toyota axles. So basically, the engine is going to sit right here in the middle, which is neat, but I also think it's kind of dumb. I haven't really told Dave this yet, but I think he realizes I think it's kind of silly. Part of the problem is that then Dave is the only guy that can ride in the thing, but like inside the driver's compartment. There will be one or two seats in the back, so you could put people back here, but I really think it would be a cooler vehicle if we kind of stuck to tradition and put the engine underneath the hood, but we'd have to use a whole different transmission transfer case system. This is kind of a gimmick, and I've seen guys do this before where they use like a Honda front-wheel drive setup, and they build a rock buggy, and it kind of turns into a single seat setup. But I think it's going to be uncomfortable for Dave to drive because he's going to have this exhaust dumping right into his leg, and the transmission shifter is going to be up on top of the engine. Other than that, I think the thing is awesome. Like, I really like how it looks. I really like, even though it's only on 35-inch tall tires, it looks like a little monster truck. If you could buy something like this versus buying a UTV or side-by-side, I think this is even cooler. It has doors you can shut. It's got a pretty cool lines to it. It's kind of a miniature FJ80 Land Cruiser look. It kind of has like that same styling, but it's more compact. And ironically, these are FJ80 Land Cruiser axles, and they don't really stick out that far. It's like about the same width, maybe even a little bit less, but just barely less width than a full-size Land Cruiser from the 90s. So I think it's gonna be a cool project. I like that we're just doing straight four links. We're doing full hydraulic steering. It's definitely just an off-road rock crawling vehicle. If we had figured out a way to adapt a transmission to the back of that engine or come up with a whole nother engine transmission transfer case, like maybe out of a Suzuki Samurai or out of a Toyota mini truck, I think it would be more useful. He could drive it every day. The way it is now, it's going to have to probably be trailered everywhere because it'll be lucky if he has any high range speed at all out of it. Putting in selectable lockers front and rear is going to make the thing have tons of traction. The four-link suspension with coilover shocks, it's going to flex really well. The full hydro steering will just be idiot-proof. Hopefully the pump on here will run the orbital valve, which will turn the big ram on the front end, and everything will go down the trail great. Dave is notorious for not being able to have anything nice. So while he's away, I may sneak in here and put some rock sliders on it. Dave has a really cool Land Cruiser, and he never built rock sliders on it. And then he's like, I'm gonna go night wheeling, and then smashes it all up. And it's like, dude, that was your one nice car, and now it's all smashed up. So I may try and surprise him with some rock sliders. And no matter what I make, it'll be wrong, because Dave's kind of a really good fabricator, and I'm kind of a okay, moderate fabricator, but maybe I'll just make it out of like some big 3-inch rusty pipe just to tick him off. Overall, I think it's going to be a cool project. We are going to be busting our tails to get this thing done in time. We had some big plans to go out of state rock crawling, and I think with our timeline now, we're just going to find a local place nearby. There's an off-road park up the road that we might be able to get into, and they have some cool man-made courses, so we'll be able to see how it does. Would I recommend building a RAV4 like this? Not with the engine in the passenger seat. I think that's dumb. Sorry, Dave. I think that's dumb. But if you were building a RAV4 and you're willing to gut the whole thing and put in kind of a normal engine up front, transmission transfer case, and then the axles, and it would end up looking like this, Yeah, I would definitely do it. I think this is a cool little project. It is a lot of work because there's no frame. It's all unibody. So we're literally having to build the whole frame system under it to tie all the suspension in. We're using like BDS parts for a Jeep XJ, which doesn't have a frame anyway. So it kind of is working out, but we're 4-linking it instead of 5-linking it with a track bar. So we're modifying all of that stuff. Basically, it is an entirely modified project. Like nothing is going the way it was originally designed for. So we're making things work. But I think in the end, it will be really cool. So quick little behind the scenes on the Rad4. Check it out. Coming to a theater near you or a laptop computer. If you need more Dirt Everyday Extra, go sign up right now.